Ooh, hey there.
Hey,
How
how are
are
you
you?
this evening? Are you frozen? Oh, there. I'm good. I'm
No,
good.
good, good.
How How are you?
Oh, I'm good. The month getting away from us.
Hmm.
Memorial Day weekend is next week. Things getting back kind of
They
fast.
sure are. I don't like it. I don't. I don't.
Yeah.
Mm.
Ooh, I'm good. Yeah, all right though.
I see another surge coming. Not a big one.
Oh,
Not. A,
yeah.
but I think there's
I,
one.
yeah, I think so. I think they're talking about can't get booster shots later on.
I know.
Oh, hey Deirdre. It's my bestest wife, Deirdre Minifield.
Oh,
Whew. Well, let me see. So this is episode 4 of Whiskey and Wine.
yes.
Yep. Hey, Dap.
Dad. Hey, Dad. Sup?
So as usual, let's get started. So what you drinking tonight?
Well, tonight I'm doing things a little bit differently because I have Raising Tristan. And
Uh-huh.
Raising Tristan calls for another one of my favorite libations,
Uh-oh.
a brew.
Oh, shucks, man. Oh, you got Corona. I drink that every
Do
once in a
you
while.
love
Uh-huh.
Coronas? I drink it right out of the bottle. I don't need a glass. Yes.
No, you just cute with it, huh?
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
What you got?
Well, this week I'm drinking Doer's White Label.
Wow.
Yeah, my sister had turned me on to this quite a few years ago. And did you know it was owned by Bacardi? And I think it went over like 500
Wow.
medals in international competitions. And I think it was developed back in 1846 by John Doerr Sr.
Hmm.
And it has a really good smell to it. Because I always think it had like the little yeast smell when you make your homemade
Hmm.
rolls, and it had the yeast smell to it. But some people drink it straight on the rocks, or I prefer, well, of course, I prefer it on ice, but that's a little soda. Some people use club soda, but sometimes I use a little ginger ale. My
Okay.
granddaddy used to say
Ginger
ginger ale.
ale.
Oh,
Ginger ale and
um,
Coca-Cola.
yeah, well, either my sister should drink it with a little Coca-Cola,
Hmm.
like he used. But it's one of my favorite. Surprise is one of my favorite drinks. And it's been aged. How many proof is it? Oh shoot! Yeah, 500 medals. It's bottled in Scotland, and I think they have like a 12-year-old Doers,
Wow.
and I think maybe like a 15 or 18-year-old, and it's all in that cast on, in those cast
Hmm.
uh, barrels. And it's aged to perfection. But it is double aged and it's really extra smooth. So, but it's only 40% alcohol by volume.
Hmm.
So I see why it takes me a long time to get a buzz after drinking this, as opposed to the other 80 proof stuff I've been drinking.
I was gonna say not 80 proof, not 80 proof.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's at 40%
Wow.
alcohol. Oh, I was wondering. That's one of my sisters liked it so much. I had no liquor in it. Yeah, so right here
Got a little clink,
got
clink,
a little
clink, clink. Got a
ginger.
little clink, clink going on. Hmm.
Yes, indeed. Oh gosh, I love it.
That's a nice glass too you got there for yourself.
Well, my niece, remember my first episode, I showed you that thing my niece gave me.
Yes.
The and they had the ice, the rock ice,
Uh-huh.
and the glasses and the
Uh-huh.
tongs. I got two of these glasses. One of my
Oh,
favorites, because it just holds the hand
yeah,
well.
see. That's nice.
Hmm.
Nice little square bottom so you can make sure when you sit it down it don't fall over.
Yeah, that's right. I thought I had one too many, so it got a nice firm base to it. Yeah. Then we had my class reunion, and we had a Zoom meeting, and no, Carol's not 150 proof. It's only 40 proof. Carol chat with.
That is funny.
Yeah. Yeah. So my class reunion, we had a meeting. So I did a meeting. So I did a reading from one of my novels. This past Wednesday, did a door prize. So it was kind of nice.
That's nice.
Kind of catching up and showing what we've been doing since, and getting ready for our big reunion.
Oh, how many?
Yeah.
10?
Oh, well,
Is
yeah.
this high school or college?
So, high
So
school.
it's your 10th, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we go with that for right this minute. Yeah. A couple more, I tell the real one.
That is funny. So which book did you read from?
Well, I read from one that I'll probably pick up next week. That one was In the Black. So I read from that and gave one of those out as a door prize.
Nice.
Yeah. So I guess I pick up that when we meet back again after Memorial Day. Yeah. So last week, what we were talking about last week? We was talking about book clubs, right?
Yes. And how to get in.
Yeah. Because did I mention was one book club, they're really strict. You have to have so many volumes of books that you have sold.
Really?
Yeah, and it had to be in X number of bookstores.
Wow.
And you had been invited to so many other book clubs for they even consider having you at theirs.
Wow.
The same thing I said, oh, wow.
Well, that's fine. I'm trying to see, you got some comments here. Asking about the class reunion.
No, Carol, I'll see your message on that later.
I think that I understand book clubs wanting to have the big name authors in. I think that's fine, but I think that they should reserve a few slots for some up and coming authors. Not every up and coming author has a horribly written book. And I know there's, we talked about how when urban lit first came out, and not just urban lit, but I've read other books by other authors where there were a lot of mistakes and people just were slapping anything between the pages. You know what I mean? Not really sure that it was good editing or good enough editing or a great book cover. And like I said, it wasn't just urban lit. It was a lot of literature. I think when African-American literature exploded on the scene and everybody wanted to be a writer. So I can understand a lot of the book clubs being real cautious about who they have. But I think
that makes sense.
If they do their research, just do the research. If an author reaches out and say, hey, I'd like to come and present my book, ask for the book and read it. If you don't think it's any good, then say, no, we have someone else we're considering, or something like that. But don't just close the door.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought those were some tough criteria. So since you explained it that way, it makes sense.
Because it was true. It was a lot, and some I would try to support people, and the books were just horrible.
Yeah, I tried to as well, but kind of going back what you were saying earlier about the editing. I've seen some editing prices, 2-3 cents per word. And you got like 40, 50, 60,000 words in your whole book. I'm like, wow. I mean, that's a whole lot of money.
It is a lot.
I'm not sure they do a better job of, trying to catch those typos or whatever. I guess my thought is just trying to make the book as flawless as humanly possible. And that was always been my standby. Make sure a lot of the editing not too distracting from the whole story. We went to one a while back, maybe at a co-worker's house a while back, deep down in Rico somewhere. And a woman wrote the book. I think she had a couple of typos in it, but everything was going well until this one young man said, "Oh, I found a typo in your book." And then the whole book club just kind of went, "Oh yeah, I saw that. I was looking for some more."
Oh, wow.
After the typo. And I'm like, well, I was fine with the book until he said something, and all of a sudden things just went off the rail just a little bit after that.
I
So
think
I don't know. I just
I found typos in my college textbooks. A college
mm-hmm.
textbook. I found a few
Yeah.
typos. They weren't bad and they didn't distract, but they're there.
Uh-huh.
Nothing is perfect.
It isn't. It really, really isn't. Oh, hey, Val Driver, how are
Uh-huh.
you? Oh, Lord, that was Denise Harper. Yeah. Oh, so you're going to read from Reading Tristan?
Yes, I'm gonna do a little raising
Now, look,
Tristan.
I'm supposed to pick off from last week, right? Because I left y'all
You
hanging.
sure did.
Yeah, I think I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You gonna go first? You want me to go first? Well,
Oh, you ready?
I'm ready.
But let me go.
Okay.
Oh, but let me go first.
Okay.
Picking.
All right.
Let's see. The last week in my book, Behind Every Dark Cloud, that you can get on Amazon.com. Let me see. Shelley went to the concert at the Richmond Coliseum.
Mm-hmm.
She couldn't find parking space closer to the parking deck, so she went to another parking deck. And she walked in, and she was being accosted by someone in the parking deck. So I think she got into some karate. she went into action and got to some karate stuff in on her.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to pick up there. All right, so she had attacked them. The attacker staggered in the middle of the parking deck until Shelley presented him with martial art kicks directly onto his chin. The attacker fell onto his back and lay motionless on the concrete deck. Shelley quickly opened the rear of her black SUV to retrieve some duct tape and rope while keeping an eye on her assailant. When the attacker unsteadily stood on his own 2 feet, she rushed towards him and delivered another quick round of punches to his abdomen, along with another swift kick to his private area. As though she were a rodeo queen, Shelley bound the attacker's arms and legs with duct tape and tied the rope around his torso. She dragged him by the rope and shoved him into the passenger seat of her vehicle. Shelley then took her position behind the wheel. Her breathing was hard and heavy. "I'm going to sue you for assault and battery and kidnapping," the attacker yelled from the passenger seat. He noticed that her car smelled of perfume and car deodorizer. "Shut up all that damn noise," Shelley shouted. She made a winding exit from the 3rd level of the parking deck and sped through the "Pay Here" sign, breaking the red and white lever. Shelley connected with the street like a police officer on a high-speed chase and had wondered where was the police that she saw when she left the Coliseum. "Oops, I guess I should have paid the parking attendant. Well, I'll come back later and pay for the damages," she said aloud. Interrupting Shelley's statement, the attacker, "Yeah, I'm going straight to the cops. You will have your chance to do that real soon. Now shut up all that damn noise. I mean it." So Shelley sped down Lee Street past the main entrance of the Coliseum and noticed that the crowd had thinned significantly. She made a right onto 8th Street and proceeded past the John Marshall Courts building. She ran the red light at 8th and Marshall Streets, crossed over Broad Street, and made a sudden right turn onto Grace. She drove with haste until she found the Richmond City Police Headquarters. Shelley parked in front of the renovated granite building. She got out of her vehicle, opened the passenger door, and pulled her attacker by the rope until he fell onto the sidewalk. "Damn it, bitch, you abusing me," the attacker yelled as he fell onto the sidewalk. "Oops, sorry, please excuse me. Now get up and walk. Now go tell the police about your assault and battery complaint." Let me go, bitch. What's wrong with you? I can't walk. You taped up my damn legs, the attacker shouted as he struggled for freedom. With all the strength that she could gather, Shelley dragged her attacker up a slight incline and through a double set of doors by the rope. Facing a little difficulty getting through the glass doors, the duo appeared as though they were performing a comedy sketch on television. The glass doors had closed between the victim and the attacker. Shelley was pulling on the rope on one side of the closed door, while Troy repeated, "Stop it, you're hurting me," from the other side of the door. While Shelley was trying to bring her attacker to justice through the glass doors, a burly desk sergeant who sat at a 2-foot high desk that was very neat and organized was engrossed in paperwork. His blonde crew cut matched his reddish skin color. When he heard the commotion, he peered over his reading glasses at the sight now before him. Pointing to her attack on the floor, Shelley stated, "Good evening. I was just attacked a few minutes ago, and here is my attacker." The burly desk sergeant stood and leaned over his desk. He picked up the telephone receiver and called for assistance. The attacker was now crying in a fit of rage. Shelley yelled, "Didn't I tell you to shut up all that damn noise, huh?" And emerging from an unmarked door, Detective Alonzo Hubert Cunningham, in his mid-30s, tall, physically fit, with a golden brown complexion and medium close haircut, gazed at the woman in the brown leather attire. He says, "I'm Detective Alonzo Cunningham. How may I help you?" he asked the woman. He could barely take his eyes off of her. "Oh, my. Well, hello."
That's it?
Well, yeah. I
Lit.
want folks to go out and buy one, too, behind every dark cloud. I put on here a critically acclaimed novel so people can go out and buy it.
Yes, it is critically acclaimed. Yeah, I want to know what's going to happen to that sergeant.
You know, they go, "Oh, my. Well, hello.
Well.
What's your name is?"
Well, a little bit about Raising Tristan. I think I talked about it last week. It's about a single dad. So I'm going to read the beginning because this tells how Shiloh is getting married, and he's marrying the love of his life, Moselle. So I'm gonna read a little bit of that, and I think I'm gonna read a little bit in the middle. So, Raising Tristan, prologue. Moselle stood facing the man who in a matter of minutes would become her husband. As she heard the minister speaking her full name, expecting her to repeat after him, she did so on autopilot. I, Moselle Renee Laveau. As the words left her mouth, her eyes never left her intended. She took in the full features of his face, the way the soft lines framed his brown eyes as he smiled, the length of his nose speaking to his Creole heritage, and his full lips that left her breathless so many times when he kissed her. Still, she wondered how she had gotten there. How had this man come into her life so unexpectedly and swept her off her feet? He was not the type of man she anticipated spending her life with. He wasn't a doctor or an accountant or a shirt and tie kind of guy, yet he was all she had ever wanted. On any given day, she would have passed him by, but something about him made it impossible to walk away. When she heard the familiar voice of his son, her focus momentarily shifted to the front pew where the boy sat with her future in-laws. Moselle couldn't help but smile. Shiloh beamed at his fiancée making eye contact with his son. He couldn't believe she was really standing face to face with him, pledging her love for eternity. He gently squeezed her diminutive, I have a hard time pronouncing that word, diminutive hand, drawing her attention back to him. There was a period of time in their relationship when he surmised things between them were over, but the bond between them prevailed, and now she was becoming his wife. By the power and the authority invested in me by God and the state of Louisiana, I now pronounce you husband and wife together. Shiloh, you may salute your bride. As Shiloh pulled Moselle into his arms, he felt as though he were in a fairy tale. His life was finally perfect. He had finally arrived. I love you, Mo, he whispered into her lips as he kissed his new bride. I love you more, she answered. When they finally pulled away from one another and faced the congregation, the applause was thunderous. Shiloh scooped his son into his left arm and used his right arm to draw Mo to him. Now they were a family, and he knew God had blessed him with more than he'd ever dreamt possible. So let's see how Shiloh became a single dad. So as we know, let me start here. This part, the beginning. If I can find a page. The beginning. Shiloh gripped Angela's hips, pulling them higher, closer to his pelvis. His thrust became forceful as he felt himself nearing release. He'd already pleased her.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, my. Hey, ain't give me one more little shot.
It's not much. It's not much. Believe me.
Oh, man.
It's really not. Lord.
Oh, wait.
Although
All right, now go ahead. I'm ready.
although Angela was nothing more than a regular booty call, Shiloh made sure she got hers. Shh, he breathed out as the air was forced from his lungs during his climax. When he finished, he rolled off her and pulled her to his chest. He didn't love her. You were so Jocelyn. He didn't love her, but he loved to cuddle. Since he didn't have a girlfriend, for now, Angela would have to do. Shiloh closed his eyes and allowed the sweet, euphoric feeling that always followed their intimate moments to wash over him. He was just about to drift off to sleep when Angela's voice pulled him back. I'm pregnant. He frowned. What did you say? I said I'm pregnant. Her voice sounded flat to him. He took a minute to turn her. Cupping her chin with his hand, he pulled her face toward his. How far? He didn't doubt for a second the baby was his. 3 months. I don't want it. Angela looked at him directly in the eyes when she uttered those words. Shiloh sat up on the side of the bed. This time he kept his back to her. What are you saying, Angie? It's a little late to get an abortion, don't you think? Not if I lie. He stood slowly to his feet. His 6'3" frame, 6'3", 200-pound frame seemed to rise in deliberate motion to Angela. She'd never been afraid of or uncomfortable around Shiloh until now. Are you telling me you're going to kill my baby? He has a heartbeat, Angela. His heart is beating. How can you do that? His eyes narrowed as he spoke. I never wanted kids. You know that. And what we have isn't exactly a relationship. Don't say it, he snapped, cutting her off. Shiloh hated it when she used the F word followed by buddy to describe their relationship. He knew they weren't a couple, but to him, they were more than that. Angela stood to her feet as well. She slowly made her way to the bathroom. Although her pregnancy wasn't far along, the baby still pressed on her bladder. After relieving herself, she turned on the shower. When she finished, she dried off and got dressed. She grabbed her purse and car keys and headed down the stairs. Before she could open the door to Shiloh's home to leave, he placed his hand against it, stopping her. This ain't over, Angie. He spoke close to her ear. You hear me? This conversation is far from over. It's over for tonight, she said softly. Perhaps that's so. But you better believe I'll be by tomorrow morning to finish this. You ain't killing my boy. Angela remained silent. All she wanted to do was go home and lay down. She knew there was no winning this argument at this point. She'd sleep on it and come up with a strategy in the morning to ensure she had her way, even if it meant disappearing.
Oh, Savannah, that was
Oh,
fantastic.
thank you. I'm trying to keep up with you.
Oh, that's easy. That was fantastic. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what you normally drink with your Corona?
Well, if I have lime, I put a lime in it.
Yeah, the little lime in it.
If I have lime, but usually like a burger, if I have a burger or something, I don't have them very often, but every now and then I get a taste for one. So I decided, Shiloh needed a little something different. So.
Well, yep. Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's all that it really. I think when I had the book club for my class reunion, Wednesday, I think a couple of people asked, are the books are they sequels? And I said no, they're standalone novels, all that are written. The only thing is the first novel I wrote, for better or for worse, do carry over some characters into Behind Every Dark Cloud. One of us kind of like a wrap up. I'm trying to wrap up recent Sable's issues, but I still think someone could read Behind Every Dark Cloud first. I think when I wrote it, I said, well, if they read this one first, hopefully it will spur enough interest. But let me find out more recent Sable's back characters. So let me get this and be kind of like, but I tell people they all stand alone. Yeah, I think when we met, I think this what people were authors were doing. They were writing sequels.
Yes.
And they had written in order. I'm like, well, no, I don't want to do that just in case. Because I'm a Gemini.
So you're a Gemini.
Yeah, I'm a Gemini. So anything could happen.
That's true.
So
one twin going one way, one twin going another.
Go to exactly. Yeah. Ooh, Janice, what did you want to know from last week? I want to know about the book from last week, Savannah.
Last week was The Prey. That's the one about the stalker. I don't have that. I think I put it away.
No, I think Janice wants you to read her the whole book, so she don't have to go buy it.
We're gonna be a while.
Yeah,
right. The Prey and Raising Tristan are both on Amazon, and actually it has where you can do take a look and you tap on the book and you can actually read a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes,
she said yes, that's it.
Yeah, The Prey.
Okay. Now hold up the one you just read from again, so people can know. All right.
And that's my little godson on the front. Well, he ain't little no more. But that's when he was a little teeny thing. He modeled for my cover.
Yeah, that's right. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, Janice, go buy it now, Janice. Hey, Anna. Hey, Terrence Singleton. I think y'all came on a few moments ago.
We got quite a few people.
Yeah. It's exciting. Then we got like 100-some views last week.
Good. And we're gonna just so everybody knows, we're gonna start uploading our videos to YouTube, so you can catch them on YouTube too. Because sometimes in Facebook, if you post, it goes so far back down in the feed that people can't find it. Yep.
So I think I learned how to upload it a little while ago. I'll send you later.
Oh, she said crying. She's trying to buy some books. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Janice. Yeah. So I don't know. I think that's all I got to say for the night.
All right. Well, you know what? If anybody has any questions about our books, you can always hit us up on our Facebook page or, DM us or something like that. We'd be more than happy to give you information on how to buy the books. I know on Amazon, you have to put in our names. So if you put in Raising Tristan by Savannah Jackson, it'll come up, or The Prey by Savannah Jackson, it'll come up. If you're looking for a Charles Lee's book, you have to put in, okay, I can send you that. You have to put in his entire name, Charles Carroll Lee, and then his book will come up. She said it's not coming up on Amazon. I'll send you the link.
Yeah, we do that after we log off.
Yeah, I'll post the link on my page.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Stephan. I see you out there too.
Oh, good. We got quite a few people tonight. Wonderful.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a little break next week, right?
Yeah. So we won't be next week because it's Memorial Day weekend. But I think next week I'll finish up Behind Every Dark Cloud and maybe introduce everyone to the other book, In the Black.
Yeah.
And that's the third novel I've written. That's a little shorter than all the other novels. Yeah, so that's my plan for next week. Yeah, but in the Behind Every Dark Cloud, I do introduce some new characters in it, and a different storyline, to this one. So this one has a different cover than what most people I'll be seeing on Amazon. I think the first one is a blue cover. So this one a little bit more haunting because some haunting kind of things happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
In this book. So, yeah, so I kind of changed and update the cover and the interior.
Okay. Something I was going to ask you. Now, what was it?
Hey, Brenda.
That's terrible. Had to do with your books. Oh, that's terrible. Because I know it was important. Oh, anyway, your books are available in paperback and ebook, correct?
Yeah, paperback and ebook. Yeah.
On Amazon.
Yeah, they all.
Okay. Are you on anything else like BarnesandNoble.com?
Yeah, Barnes and Noble. Yeah, put me BarnesandNoble.com, Amazon.com. I think all the .com bookstores.
Okay.
Amazon, and it's a big thing. And either iUniverse.com for the first novel, Ex Libris, for the other novels.
Okay, I think we should post those things like after we log off, go in the video and post them in the chat so people will know, because sometimes it is hard to find because there's so many books with the same title.
It is. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's something we can easily do. Yeah. I was trying to think I want to read one more little thing before we leave.
Okay.
But I don't know. Oh. Well, you remember James from the first novel?
The one that got beat up?
He was a brother. Yeah. The brother of the main character from this book. So he's a carryover too. So I guess it's Sable Reese, Reese's parents, Reese Jr. and Joyce, and the brother James. So they all carryovers. And it's chapter 21, and the title is The Baby Ain't Mine. And so James has a girlfriend on the campus of Virginia Union University. So James decided to call his parents and bring them up to date, because I think they talk once or twice a week. So let me start this conversation by saying that the baby ain't mine, James started during the call to his parents. What did you say? Joyce asked to be sure she understood her son. I said the baby ain't mine. Well, whose baby are you talking about? Reese Jr. asked on the other line in his baritone voice. Let me do that again. Whose baby are you talking about? Reese Jr. asked on the other line in his baritone voice. Cordelia, James replied. Cordelia? Reese Jr., Joyce said in unison. That's right. I had one of my visions that she was pregnant. I heard the baby laughing and crying and all that stuff. And don't forget, James is clairvoyant. Reese Jr. asked, so are you sure the baby isn't yours? Yep, positive. Cordelia and I never had sex. James replied. Oh, said
Mm.
Joyce. Who's the father? She asked. Well, some truck driver from North Carolina she met at Glenn's on Chamberlain Avenue. They were doing a nasty at a motel. Cordelia told me that. Uh, yeah, had told me that. Oh, my star, said Joyce. Oh, boy, Reese Jr. said. Do I need to speak with Cordelia's parents to come to some sort of an agreement? No, 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 no. Reese has already spoken with Mrs. Walker, and you should have seen the two of them wrestling in the basement of Harshorn Hall. I had never seen anything like it. They should have taken their wrestling match to the Coliseum, James replied. Are you sure we don't need to come to some sort of agreement with Mrs. Walker? Joyce asked. I'm sure. Reese told Mrs. Walker that she distorts the truth and continues to harass me that he will burn her house down. How can he do that? James asked. I don't know, Reese Jr. replied faintly. In an attempt to change the subject, James asked, can Tevin and Brendan come over for Thanksgiving dinner? I'm sure they can. After the shock of Cordelia's pregnancy had settled, Reese Jr. and Joyce inquired about James's state of mind as well as his arrival for the Thanksgiving holiday. James assured his parents that he was mentally and physically fine and that he would come home on Thanksgiving Eve. When the Dexters had finished their three-way conversation, they ended their call with promises of seeing each other very soon. Man, looks like every fall I have some girl problem. Last year was Kim. Now this year is Cordelia, James said as he fell back on his twin-sized bed. Yep. And that's all I'm going to read for the night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's some paid and play stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what James is dealing with for right now. So, I mean, like I said, fall he got hands full.
Poor James. And he's the one that got beat up, right? Isn't he the one that got beat up?
Yeah, he got beat up. He got beat up on that.
Yeah.
Near Union, off of Broad.
Yeah, he was walking after meeting a girl in the park.
Yeah, meeting Kim. He met Kim in the park, and they decided to break up because there was so much racial tension between blacks and Asians. So they thought it was best for his safety and her safety. They did go ahead and break up for right now.
Okay, I'm a little back to Kim. I'm just saying. I think it's kind of funny that after he met with her and then left the park, that there was a little crew waiting for him.
Yeah. Yeah. So they were on the lookout, but they I guess one thing I failed to mention, Reese Jr., the father of James and Reese, he handles his business, so he takes care of things.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I think it's interesting. I was going to book clubs and people was reading the book. They were a little more interested in the father and the mother than they were the main character. I said, oh, wait, that's a secondary character. But say, yeah. The father is more like somebody from The Sopranos. Yeah, we like him. Like, really?
Oh, wow.
So I think he may need a backstory, at some point. Of how he had obtained all this power in his belt. But he's a firm and staunch defender of his family. And when James was beaten up on that street in Richmond, he jumped into action to clarify all that. And what he did was a bit extreme, in my opinion. Even though I wrote it, I think it was, it was a bit extreme. And I think there's a follow-up to that in this book of the condition of that of his retaliation. He said, well, no one's having a problem with it. Just kind of let it be.
Well, I think, like I said, I'm a little suspect of Kim. Because I think it's mighty funny that they knew where to meet him on that street after he left the park. I'm just saying. They were not hanging out at Union, just coincidentally. I can tell you ain't trying to tell it, but I know.
Well, no, I just like keeping people in suspense. Let them go read it.
I'm gonna have to go read it. My schooling is getting better, so I have more free time now, so I can do some reading.
Oh, okay,
I'm so
good.
happy. I'm so
Okay,
happy.
good.
Well, I'll say this about raising Tristan before we go. I have there are a lot of single mothers in the world. My mom, after my dad died, was a single mother. For a while, I was a single mother. And, you know, I had somebody make a comment to me. We were talking about my book, and after she made this comment, I decided my book was not for her. And we were talking about single mothers. I said, well, I have a heart for single fathers because there are a lot of single fathers out there just going quietly about their work. Might not hear a lot about it, but there are a lot of them out there. And she said something like, it's funny that when a man is a single father, people have a whole lot to say, and single women do it every day. No, I don't think so. I think that, like I said, single men, single fathers go quietly about their work. And the reason I decided that this was not for her is because you have to have an open mind. And to me, her mind was closed.
Okay.
This guy, without telling the story, is a stand-up guy. He starts out going this way and he ends up going that way, but he does it because he's a stand-up guy. And I think that deserves some accolades. So, and this is actually dedicated to a friend. When I used to do the asthma education program, we used to work with Head Start. And a gentleman named Alex, and he is a single daddy. He had started his own business. He has his own like landscaping business and stuff like that, and just a hustler. And he inspired me. And so I decided to write a book. It's not based on him, but I decided to write a book based on my encounter with him. So it's dedicated to Alex and single fathers everywhere.
Okay. Well, I think that's professional and mature of you to mention to that reader, this book is not for you.
So thank you.
Yeah, because you could have, so you can make a buck. No, read it anyway and let me know what you think, or it may change your mind. I think it's very mature, very professional for you to do that, because I've been to some book clubs or book events and sat at a table all alone by myself, and people come by looking for a sex book or like this first book, for better or for worse. I think it's marriage counseling and stuff. I said, no, it's not marriage counseling. This is what you want. This book is not for you.
Right.
And even with the third book, I wrote Preacher Man. Everybody wanted to say, it's based on scripture. This is a Christian novel. And I said, no, it takes place in the church, but they're doing some unchrist-like things. But if you're looking for a Christian novel, this is not, the Preacher Man said, this is not for you. I mean, the main character just so happens to be a preacher who's, involved in some worldly things. So he has to, deal with that, throughout the whole entire novel. So, but I think it's good when authors have to get to know the audience, so know the reason, trying to figure out what you're looking for. And yes, I applaud you and commend you on telling me this.
Yeah, because it's, that was, I said, no, you're not going to like it because you think that I'm giving single fathers accolades, and single mothers do it every day. Yeah, well, single mothers do it every day, but so do single fathers. So.
We're kind of getting topic with that. I guess with Mother's Day just came, and then there's Father's Day. Because sometimes on Facebook all the time, single mothers want to be recognized for Father's Day. So there's been always a debate about that every single Father's Day. These mothers want to be acknowledged for that. And people say, well, no, it's Father's Day. Mothers you had back in early May, let the fathers who stepped up to the plate doing what they're supposed to do biologically or by adoption or by mentoring have this to themselves. We got someone like, I know and the father. They said, well, no, you can't be both.
Mm-mm.
You either the mother or either you the father, which is it? So
Exactly. I agree.
this always been a
I agree.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
All
anyway,
right.
well, well, thank you to all 3 or 4 people that's on
Yeah.
here
Oh, she says
tonight.
true. There are single.
The T,
Yeah.
yeah, we got T. Christian, Janice. I don't know if Anna's still on, and Brenda Woody, and Terrence Singleton, and Stephen.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you all for tuning
Yeah. Thank
in.
you. All right. Will you enjoy your week?
And we'll be off next week for Memorial Day. And we'll be back after that sometime. Some brand new
Brand
liquor
new.
and some new, yeah, and some new stories to tell.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, good
Good
night.
night. Have a great one.